Hi, it's Rebecca Mara again, and I wanted to talk to you about something that is really, really helpful for people with chronic illnesses. So, chronic illness could be something like chronic stress, it could be something like SIRS, mold illness, long COVID, Lyme disease, and if you have a chronic illness, you probably know what I'm talking about. So one thing that a lot of people don't know about, first of all, I think it's super important to get a whole bunch of tests run from a functional medicine practitioner or a naturopath of some kind. So that's the physiological part of it, right? All of that stuff is really important. But I've watched tons and tons of videos of people that do not get better until they do something called brain retraining. And what's happening with chronic illness is that our brain is constantly in a sense of not being safe, right? And so it actually can get hypersensitive to the world, to our own thoughts, to everything, where it's like we're in this chronic state of fight or flight or of just knowing of not being safe, right? And so sometimes because of that nervous system activation of the fight, fight, freeze, shut down, all of that, our our system isn't strong enough under that kind of stress in order to heal. Our limbic system is dysregulated. That affects our immune system. And so healing just takes a much longer time if we don't do something called brain retraining. And there are three main brain retraining programs that people seem to be into. The first that seemed to pioneer everything is called DNRS. The second that I became aware of is called Gupta method. And the last that I seem to enjoy the most is called Primal Trust. And the reason why I like Primal Trust is because it brings in so much of the somatics and polyvagal theory and elements of trauma therapy, all of that. So the first step in all of the brain retraining programs, I'm just going to kind of break it down a little bit. Well, first of all, the point of it, the purpose of brain retraining is to get your body out of chronic states of fight, flight, freeze. And also it's getting your brain out of always thinking that you're sick, right? It's like ruminating over your symptoms. Like, I don't feel good. I'm tired. I don't feel good. I'm tired. I feel pain. Da 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 da. I can't calm down, whatever. It's helping get the brain out of that, those thinking patterns that create more and more stress. And you're looking for ways that you can feel safe instead, right? We're resourcing your brain. We're resourcing your body. So that was part of the first step. I already told you. So that first step is stopping the thought in its tracks. Even if it's true, like even if you don't feel good, every time you think that thought about not feeling good or of like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? What's going to help me? What's going to help me? That freneticness and that panic, which makes sense, right? I totally get it. I've had mold toxicity for some years now. And when I have symptoms, I'm ruminating, I'm like, how do I go to work? Da, 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 da. But it helps so much when you stop the thought in its tracks. That's number one. It's the awareness that your brain is doing the thing again. It's doing the hypervigilance thing. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. How do I get out of this? Da, da, da. So you're getting out of that repeated way of thinking that just keeps creating more stress. So that's number one. You stop the thought in its tracks. Just a little bit of a segue. So those are the three main retraining programs. Also, Joe Dispenza's work has worked very well for people. It's just not specific to chronic illness. So in Joe Dispenza's work, I'll break it down for you. It's so simple. All of these things are really simple, but it's hard to do in practice. Like to get the habit, you've got to use your willpower for it. So Joe Dispenza's work is you are, first of all, disconnecting from your known reality, right? He spends about at least 20 minutes in every meditation, you're disconnecting from your known self and your known reality, right? So the personality, all the thoughts that you have about yourself, you're just disconnecting, right? You're just going to the open field of creative possibility. And from that place, after you've kind of disconnected from your identification with, your illness and who you think you are, you're bringing in that new state of being with as much of a positive emotion as possible. And you're dialing up that emotion, using the limbic system, which helps create memory much bigger, right? Think about when, the biggest memories that you have, they're pretty emotionally charged, whether they're positive or negative. And those are the things that we remember the most, right? And that affects our body the most, is like the emotional charge in a memory. So with as much of a positive emotion as possible, so joy, safety, trust, love, enthusiasm, whatever, you're envisioning yourself then as healed. So you are seeing yourself as like totally healed, like totally safe, empowered, like living a life where you feel truly fulfilled. And I'd like to go to less superficial things and go for more of like a deeper, richer fulfillment. And there can be a spiritual aspect to that as well. So that's Joe Dispenza's work. It has some similarities to these programs that are focused on chronic illness, but that's it in a nutshell. I'm breaking it all down for you. So with the chronic illness, you're stopping the thought in its tracks, which is the awareness piece, right? And then you're telling your brain and telling yourself, I'm healing right now. I'm safe. Anything that's resourcing, but it's really like, I'm going to heal. Right now, I'm okay. Even though I don't feel great, I'm still okay. There's a part of me that can hold this, right? I have capacity to hold this and to be present with what's happening, and I am healing. And you can bring a lot of love to yourself, like a lot of compassion. I noticed that on some days that I didn't feel well, or there was a day recently that I was really tired again from the mold or whatever, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired of these symptoms. Like I let it get to my emotional body while I was hiking with the dogs along some little creek, and I let myself just radically hold myself in that. Like I was just like energetically kind of holding myself from the outside, and I was like, I'm so sorry, Rebecca. Like, I'm so sorry that every day can be a challenge with your health sometimes. And when I did that, I was kind of like crying. Like I was listening to motivational videos of people that had a lot of challenges and overcame them. So that kind of added to the emotion of it. But I was like letting myself cry by being held by myself. And after I cried on that hike, my health was perfect. I was great for at least a week. Like the symptoms just disappeared. So there's something really sweet about being able to turn toward our experience and be loving and compassionate to ourselves while we're in that place of healing. And believing that we're going to heal is helpful. And I know, if you've had chronic illness, you feel like you've tried everything. But having faith in a grounded and simple way where you aren't completely hooked on an agenda, like this has to work and this has to happen in this time. It's like just having faith that you are going to heal shifts your nervous system from that state of like collapse or shutdown or giving up and powerlessness, which actually is very stressful on the body. All the energy is locked into that shutdown response, and you can't heal that well from that place, right? So when you have some level of faith of like, I can heal, like I can be with this, I can take care of this, then that shutdown energy or that like panic, it gets to be soothed so that that energy is available for your body to heal, right? It helps to have some faith. And so like so in these programs, there is a lot of, it's like envisioning yourself healing, a lot of compassion for yourself with just with the symptoms that you experience. Like, oh, like I really can understand why you'd feel overwhelmed right now. I'm here with you. So that self-love and that positive self-talk it's powerful, you know? And I've experienced stretches of time when I'm doing more of the brain retraining. And I've just heard so many, testimonials of people that are like, yeah, I totally, I didn't get better for years and years and years. I was sick in bed, totally in bed for years, couldn't move, couldn't be in sunlight or whatever. And they did the brain retraining and they are really dedicated to it and they heal. It's like that nervous system energy, and the brain's fixation on like, I'm sick, nothing is good. All of a sudden it shifts and then there's something new possible, which is why, faith healing works for people sometimes. But this is more grounded than that because we're working with the thoughts in the mind and the nervous system and getting out of that panicked or shut down state. So in a nutshell, that's brain retraining. And if there was a statement, like one statement you could tell yourself, it would be, I'm okay. And even if you don't feel okay, it's just being like, I'm okay right now. And everything seems to come down to that. It's like being able to tell yourself that you're okay. Like, I'm okay, I'm going to be okay. It shifts so much. So I just want to share this stuff because I've gone down a lot of little rabbit holes with it, and there are a lot more details to it, and little more intricate pieces of the process, but I wanted to break it down to the simple stuff. And I'll tell you again, like the main ones that I know of were DNRS, and honestly it was a little bit cheesy for me, so it didn't resonate with me. But I have a client who had like 16 symptoms disappear by doing this diligently. By the way, the processes aren't going to work overnight. You have to do the practice, even though it might feel dumb, it might feel kind of boring. You have to do it because it's going to work. It's all about getting your nervous system in a regulated state, and then everything starts to fall into place and you start to get healthy. So first one is DNRS. Then there's the Gupta method. That his voice is a little softer for me. And then there's Primal Trust, which is what I'm into the most right now. She's got a lot of information. And then it ends up working a lot with the vagus nerve, the nervous system, getting ourselves out of cell danger response where we think everything is a threat, or the brain thinks everything is a threat, but also our brain is just noticing what's wrong constantly. So that's one piece. So I like Primal Trust, but I think they're all great and they're all helpful. And I think there are a lot of people with chronic illnesses that have had no awareness of this, which is why I did a video on it. And I just want to offer that information. So I really believe in it. If you listen to, I don't know if I can say her name right, but it's like Regan Agle, Ragenagle, something like that. She has so many stories of people that have healed from brain retraining, and if you listen to it enough and some of the Primal Trust videos, you're like, oh yeah, you just get really inspired. So, I recommend reading or watching some videos of people that have really healed from this stuff. So I wanted to offer that. Thank you. If you want to learn more about trauma therapy, working with the nervous system and resourcing, doing a somatic experiencing session with me online, feel free to reach out or find me through my website. It's RebeccaMara.com or SamadiMindBody.com. And it also helps to get the information out if you subscribe, or just write some comments or questions below. And I am sending love. I wish everybody lots of luck on their journey, and I believe in you.